XRP.
We start in about 3 minutes.
I'm more secure than you'll ever be. I'm faster, I'm cheap, and my name is XRP. I'm faster, I'm more secure than you'll ever be. I'm faster, I'm cheap, and my name is XRP.
Almost 1 minute to go. Hello. Not just yet, everyone. I'm faster. Yes, I don't need glasses for work on my computer. Hello, CKJ Cellmate. Hello, Timmy. Hi, QB. Hi, Peter. Hi, Viken. Hi, Manu. Hello, Manuel. Hi, Going Jackal. Hi, Kuhu. Heute ist English, Kuhu. Hi, Raf, I guess, right? Or Mr. Pace. Actually, I'm not quite sure about his. I think it's Mr. Peace on YouTube. Something. Hello, hi, Monty. Hello, Richard. Thanks. So, 10 seconds to go. 40 viewers and already 13 likes. How can you like seeing an empty chair? Hello everyone, let's get started. I have no plans today, totally not. The only thing I can actually two little things. I don't know if I told it last week. I think not, because this feeling I'm having is just a few days old, but I have been quite calm the past few weeks and months. It didn't really shock me when the price dropped and everything, but since about a few days I became a little bit not anxious in a positive way, maybe. In a way, maybe we really see some action going on this year. But that's just my gut feeling. I mean, there's literally no proof. But actually, let me read that comment. I have to quickly search that. I received a really nice comment on one of my videos, of my live streams. Hold on. I think Exactly. That guy, XRP, wrote, I think Ripple's public target to capture so much of the market will be different to what they actually want to capture behind closed doors. It's in their best interest to public have low end. That's basically what I'm trying to bring across for weeks and months so far. And then I have received from several people on YouTube and on Twitter and other social media, if I have a feeling of, if I can comment Dilly Browse leaving Ripple. I mean, he's retiring, what can I say? I mean, surely they will have known that by the end of 2019 he will retire, because he has come of an appropriate age to retire. I don't see anything spectacular in that. The only thing one could interpret into that is that they actually saw that the 3-4, I think since 2012 he was with Ripple. Maybe they knew already that the 7 years he would serve would be kind of good enough, because the rails might have been laid anyway. And that's about it from my side. I sent you a message to Twitter, hope you can cover. Let me check. Okay, let me read his question. My thoughts on why XRP is not at the high price. It's because the established order does not want to change. Big banks work against it together with regulators. They act that they are interested, test it for months, and don't implement it. Don't underestimate the money laundering that works in the current system and will not work anymore with blockchain. What Emonti, I will explain that, but it will work in the same way as it's working now. Ripple is just fixing the underlying rails, the plumbing, so to speak. And because of ODL, you will not be able to track anything more down than what you may have been able to track down before, because it will just, those ODL transactions will be just between the exchanges. Outside whom sent money and whom received fiat, you will never know, because that's encrypted, and not even the exchanges could hold records on whom sent, but I don't think they will. Hey Monty, I don't quite agree with your comment that we're basically, that the big banks basically do not want any change in the system. They're well aware of, and they're even more aware of the fact, if they don't go down that road, then it'll be like a dead end for them anyway, so they have to go down that road. And incidentally they can make even more money. I mean, by releasing the Nostro money, that's trillions. They will be able to go into new markets, offer new financial products, not related to crypto, just as they have been doing for years, but they will have a bigger war chest. Not one of those big guys will want to not have that possibility. Thank you, Timmy. Richard is mentioning the value on coin fair value. I basically don't check that. I mean, those figures are based on volume, and as we all know, that even Ripple themselves had trouble getting proper volumes from the exchanges. I don't trust that figure, and the other figure is I don't know, something from the history, maybe volume from the history, and then they do some calculation on it. To me, that sounds as that's I literally don't see how that should make anything more fair. I mean, for anything like Bitcoin or other tokens which do not have use case, where it's basically just literally digital money, so to speak, there the fair value is the value it has. Basta. And on any of those coins where there is utility, I mean, we have to be honest, the utility defines, or not defines, but there is as much utility as the liquidity allows. And I tried to explain it in recent live streams. Liquidity is not just a high price. It also means that I mean, I could try to sell you this, whatever it is, something for 5,000. That doesn't make this a liquid item. But it would become a liquid item if many people wanted it or wanted parts of it. And that's the reason why Xpring is so important, because they're looking for other uses of XRP in gaming, in whatever other. I'm pretty sure that the Solo project was also kind of maybe an offspring of some Xpring initiative. I'm 100% sure about that. Emonti, I really don't know what's the delays, what those delays are, but what we can know, maybe someone can tell me. I know that Europe and Germany will make it possible coming year 2000, I think it starts 1st of January 2020, to hold crypto and to offer other crypto-based financial products, and that they can offer custody for crypto. And I read somewhere, but I don't know if it's true, that the US is offering basically, or will release a similar regulation, that it will be possible to do similar things. And I know from that one discussion I had with one of the guys as well, that a similar law is getting in place in Japan. And maybe that will be the the Kickstarter. Maybe there really, for whatever reason, there had been delays. For whatever reason, I mean, I still stand by my point. ODL and RippleNet as such doesn't need more regulation. It could be used if liquidity were. Sorry, I haven't been sleeping well today. Were available. But these new regulations definitely help or will help basically every crypto which requires more liquidity, like more tools, more financial tools, more use cases where that particular crypto or digital assets will be wanted. And yeah, I mean, it's kind of also a regulation which will help liquidity increase. Of that I'm 100% sure. And in that case, we could say, okay, we have been waiting for regulation. But RippleNet as such, I mean, why can they do now in US ODL transactions when basically everyone tells us we're waiting for regulations? I mean, that's kind of weird. Chuck S. Yes, that was a comment from David Schwartz, I think, to Brad Kimes as well, that they're looking at both alternatives, slow and steady, or kind of like an immediate price rise. And the thing with the slow and steady, that if, I mean, the way he explained it is basically that they kind of know how they could do it slow and steady, which on the other hand leads me even more to the opinion that they actually, or someone is actually suppressing the price. I mean, otherwise we might have seen this slow and steady rise already. But then he said, even if it was a slow and steady, that would attract even more speculators and people and stuff. And that would make it a bit uncontrollable, I think. And that's one of the reasons why I'm still favoring Shane Ellis' theory. Because then they kind of can control the price, even though it's not really a control. I mean, it's all legal. Richard is actually, I tweeted about that, and Richard is reminding me of that there basically isn't a delay. You remember all this average slide with ILP and XRP, which connects all the payment networks worldwide, and they have like 2 or 3 slides with timelines. And on one of the timelines, it basically said that 2020 trade finance and other blockchain solutions will emerge. But as a matter of fact, Marco Polo, one of the trade finance solutions running on Corda platform from R3, is live since end of 2017, 2 years already. And Voltron, another trade finance solution which is being backed by quite some big guns out there, should have been going live, but I didn't find any information about that recently. Should have been going live in Q4 2019. But I didn't really hear anything that they did go live yet. Maybe there is a little bit delay. But the Marco Polo solution, I mean, that's running since 2017 productively. So on the timeline from that Everest presentation, we're totally on course. And that would basically mean that in the next 2-3 years, they call it global real-time gross settlement system. That within the next 3 years, 2020, 21 and 22, that this global RTGS will cover about, I don't know, 80% of the market. Because that's something I explained in my video on cinnamon. We have this bell curve, the normal distribution, and I actually, let me quickly check this. I could show. I think I could show that quickly. Let me try to do that in the screen, and then we move that over, and then display capture, preview. Now we make that bigger. So what you're basically seeing now is this bell curve, this normal distribution. That's a curve which is basically applicable to each and every adoption of whatever it is. Oh, sorry. Hold on. Right now, as long as I display that, I cannot see your... Actually, I could... Hold on. Give me a moment. I move that to the side. So, now I can see both your comments and you can see this bell curve. So basically, in this slide from Everest, the timeline started 2017. And like mass adoption or full adoption would be 2025. And if we now, this is the bell curve, the normal distribution. And if we apply that to those to the years, I have tried to evenly distribute the years below the curve. That would basically show that next year we would gather, like, I don't know how much, someone good in math might tell that. That's to me like 25% of the market. And that's maybe 25, and that's another, maybe even 30%. And these here just 20, something like that. And we're right here, and this will come, and I literally have no doubt. Thank you, Richard, for this timeline thingy. I think that was something which was well worth digging into. Now let me go back to the questions. King Katunko, Ripple doesn't give away 1 billion coins. They just release it from escrow, and whatever isn't being sold goes back to escrow. Kevin Patterson, totally agree with you. Going a jekyll, any bank with high value transaction could trigger price spike. And I mean, the only thing I in this Shane Ellis theory problem, I mean, one guy, Simon from the Love for Crypto Telegram group, he explained it once in the terms I tried to kind of repeat myself. This ODL for banks is like a nuclear reactor, very hard to build, very hard to get started, but once it's started, it's very hard to stop it. And a high price needs a high volume of payments. On the other hand, high value payments need a high price. So it's like catch 22, I think it's called. Like one relies on the other. Now I lost my thread. What I wanted to explain. And thus this price hike, as long as we wouldn't see enough volume from other banks, that's really a problem. And the problem in this whole thing is, and I have received that question many times, and the only answer I had for that, whom will buy XRP on the other side in order for fiat to be able to be paid out? And my answer always was market makers. But whom those market makers are, I literally don't know. Now with these new regulations, as banks can hold XRP soon, basically the theory I have proposed a year ago, that maybe those CLS banks, the continuous linked settlement banking group, the banks which do the actual settlement of the payments in the SWIFT system, they have enough cash. They have enough cash in many countries. It's basically them who has the big amount of Nostros, and they would easily be capable to buy the XRP and release enough fiat in order for the recipient to receive fiat. And maybe that's the reason why we're waiting for this regulation. PCXRP, hello. I read your comment on one of my last live streams. I hope I could do that, where you basically explained that the public stated volume they're targeting is probably nothing compared to what they're targeting behind closed doors. And that's what I'm trying to bring across, like literally since I've made my superhighway theory. I mean, I repeat that Temenos, Finastra, Task Group and CGI, those four together cover between 60 and 70% of the global banking software market. They have together 500,000 employees. If just 1% of them is involved with banking, they serve other industries as well. Maybe, I don't know. But if just 1% of them is involved, with payment software for banking, then we have like a factor 10 more and more workforce taking care of people, of clients getting on RippleNet than Ripple themselves. I mean, I have no doubt that we're like most likely more than 1,500 banks already. I mean, 30% of the top 100 banks are confirmed. I confirmed that with a video I made, I don't know, 2 months back. I made a list of the top 100 banks, and I made a list of the banks which Leonidas, which we met as well, is taking care, and I asked him as well, do you list also dot connected banks or just only like institutions where you literally have proof that they're on RippleNet? And he told me no, he just lists companies where there is proof that they're on RippleNet. And in one of the recent videos, I don't remember, I think it was with Navin Gupta, he talked about a few clients in the Middle East, India, and I told Leonidas to check if he has them on the list, and that he figured that 3 of them indeed were not listed on his list. So you can be sure. I mean, I literally have, I don't, 0 doubt. I don't know why everyone still has so many doubts. Manuel was the past 2 days also a bit, will it happen, will it happen? We all know from Butterfly Trader, he's like the doubter number 1. Oh, but Enzo, yes, that what you're basically explaining would also be would also, I mean, Shane, how shall I explain? Shane Ellis basically stated that they will keep the price of XRP as low as possible for as long as possible. Gio, I'm still thinking we're literally less than 6 months away from 4 digits. And I'm, with all those new regulations coming along, maybe even less than 3 months. If it still will rise this year, I literally don't know. I have a good feeling in my gut, but I mean, I had that a year ago already, and nothing happened. Actually, it went down and down and down. Exactly, David. It's not if, it's just when. And surely not another year. Exactly. This is something, I mean, I have been receiving the question from you guys. What I would do if in a year we would still be below $1. I mean, as I cannot imagine that, I cannot tell you the answer to that question. It's like I'm totally blind on that spot. I cannot. I mean, if you had asked me that a year ago, I might have told you maybe there is something important we're waiting for. But another year, and I am totally sure that we will not wait another year. I'm 100% sure about that. I wanted to say something before. I mean, these new regulations coming along in Europe, in US, I think we know, even though I didn't read proof, I was just reading a tweet from one of those news sites. If that's really to be trusted, I don't know. And I know it's from Japan. Like similar, like almost identical new regulations are coming along that they will allow new financial products and custody of crypto or of digital assets. And this will help any digital asset become liquid, because there will be a huge demand for any of the coins. Most strongly needed for XRP, we all know that. PCXOP, I believe it's way more than 50% of the partnerships we don't know. I mean, I'm pretty sure all those payment gateway and payment software providers, I mean the four I'm usually telling, Temenos, Finastra, Task Group and CGI, that's just the ones I did the research upon. But then there is other companies which I don't know the distinction between Temenos and Earthport, as example. If Temenos has to use Earthport, or if Earthport is offering their way to handle payments to various payment software providers. That's this connection I really don't know. But companies like Earthport, we also have like, I don't know, 5 or 10. Earthport, dLocal, Volante I think was one. And there is literally more. SAP, you could also, I mean, I don't really see SAP as being like a super strong company in banking. I think banks who are using SAP are, I'm 100% sure about that, are smaller banks. Like UBS or Credit Suisse in Switzerland, I'm 100% sure they will not use SAP. I'm 100% sure. It's basically like product market fit, the key, one of the key items in Ripple's vision and strategy, that you have to, the solution you build has to solve a problem which exists and not one which you create. And SAP is an ERP, an enterprise resource planning system from its inheritance. was used originally to keep track of your how is it called in English, warehouses, like how many, I don't know, something you still have in your warehouse in order to plan your production line properly. But in transactional, like banking, I mean, I'm sure that they offer modules there, but it's for sure not their core business. SBI, we're still waiting. Maybe SBI is also waiting for this new law. Even though I think, I mean, the only thing there I don't quite understand is how they argue towards their clients who have been registering. Sorry, but once for over 1.5 year ago and still cannot use the public exchange properly. That's something I really don't understand. XRP Alliance, HANA gab es damals noch nicht, das war einfach eine Custom Cloud Solution. HANA, SAP HANA will run mainly just in the cloud. You can still have it on premise, but HANA was particularly developed to be run in the cloud. This transaction between Canada and the Reisebank, that was maybe running via Amazon or whatever, just in a cloud, but not in SAP cloud. Geo XRP is asking about the escrow, the whole 1 billion escrow being put back into escrow. Our thoughts. I mean, Ripple told publicly, I think 2 months back in October, that they will stop selling OTC. That the market as such is penetrated fine enough with XRP. So for me, that's the consequence of that they're moving the billion back into escrow. Jan Christiansen, the more I'm when I talk about liquidity, this is also for me a learning process. Initially, I always told it needs to have a high price to be liquid, but that's just half of the equation. The other half, even if something has a high price, you need to have a high demand for it as well. If no one wants to buy it at that high price, it's still illiquid. Only when that thing with the high price has enough demand, it becomes a liquid thing or asset. And in that way, each corridor they open, and for me a corridor, when Ripple is talking about corridors, is just a currency in and out. It's not a connection between euro and dollar. It's just a connection to euro and from euro, or to dollar and from dollar. I mean, coming back to SAP, the important role with SAP actually I see not really in terms of banks running SAP software. But one factor many of us have kind of forgotten, there is a third product, XVIA, which actually allows customers of banks integrating the RippleNet running at the bank into their own ERP system. And in that perspective, I see SAP's role quite important, because that way, I mean, right now, when I'm paying, I don't know, Jan Christiansen $5,000 for whatever service he provided me, I open my e-banking account and initiate the payment. A company, like an enterprise, like, I don't know, BMW, they buy tires in Italy at Pirelli. They do the same. They open their e-banking account and issue that payment to Pirelli in Italy, right? But now with this XVIA, they do not need to do that anymore, because let's assume BMW is using SAP and they have this XVIA plugin, which might be already standard part of SAP HANA, which we don't know, I'm assuming. Then they can basically issue the payment through their own ERP system, and it will in the backend go to their bank and then to Pirelli. And that's a nice thing. They need one less manual step, because it's all kind of integrated into their ERP system. And for the big shots, like for all those, I mean, that might not be so much of a help for a small company with 50 employees, but for all those multinational, global companies, Siemens, BMW, Mercedes, like all the car manufacturers, all those other GE, whatever, all those pharmaceuticals, Roche, Novartis, they have thousands or millions of payments every year. If they can integrate that with their ERP system, that'll be a huge time saver. A huge time saver. And there I see a big role for this SAP integration, but not really as SAP being the software running at the bank. T.Cher, yes, I'm still very positive. I don't tell any dates, but I don't think that it'll take another 6 months. XRP run, I mean, honestly, we do not even know which corridors are readily open. They think they know by kind of tracking payments from some exchanges going to other exchanges. But as Ripple told that they will not publicly announce preferred XRP or now ODL partner exchanges anymore, could be that we have already now 5 or 10 corridors basically ready. I mean, in the end, what Ripple is requiring for ODL to work is a properly compliant exchange for that currency. But I mean, Bittrex opened in Liechtenstein, I think 3 or 4 months back. They're called now not international Bitrex anymore. I think they're called now global Bitrex, and they serve the Euro corridor. And I mean, even though unannounced, but you can be 100% sure they will 100%. I don't know. I don't like to bet because usually I lose all the bets I'm doing, but I'm 100% sure that Bitrex will serve the euro area through their place in Liechtenstein. Kevin Patterson. Well, my wife is actually, even though, I mean, she knows quite some stuff. She knows about ILP. She knows about the different products from Ripple. Like I usually explain, one makes the payment fast and the other one makes the payment cheap. That's how I explain it. And I tell her a little bit about the ecosystem and stuff. And she also cannot really understand why the price is still so low. But also she had, I think it was about 10 days ago, she told me that she has quite a good feeling now. Even though she was kind of, let's call it a little bit nervous about the price of XRP in the past few months. But since about 10 days, even though she's not reading Twitter, she's not into XRP at all. The only thing she hears about the XRP is from me. $15 million remittance. Well, Chinu Patel, if it's a one transaction in the order of 15 million, then that will lift price. If it's like within a day, then it won't move the price at all. Emonti is actually having a quite interesting question regarding Solo. And actually Emonti is asking regarding this stablecoin and digitized securities functionality Solo is going to offer. I think in Q1 they will start actually offering their whatever you want to call it, offer. They're offering their offer. Stupid. Anyway, I mean, I think, let me recap. There is like 3 stable coins I know so far. Like stable coins like Tether, or if you so want Libra. Maybe there is others where a institution tells you that that stablecoin has that value and it is being backed by something. Let's say enough US dollar in the same amount as coins of that stablecoin are available. Now, Solo is doing a different thing. They're kind of digitizing stocks, and in order for those digitized tokens to be sold, they need to be able to back that somehow, and the backing there will be done via XRP, but don't get overexcited. I mean, they're quite hard trying to get more customers, but compared to Coinbase, I mean, Coinbase has how many? 30 million customers. Coinfield has, or had, 2 months back, 200,000 customers. So that's nothing. Even if 10% of those want to buy digitized Apple stock or whatever, it'll still be nothing. Now the best, however, because it's two different systems, this solo system where you can actually buy the digitized stock, and the XRP used to back those digitized stock tokens, so to speak, there is still a risk. In the first example of Tether or Libra, Facebook or whomever is issuing Tether, they could run with the dollar and leave you basically with a Tether or a Libra, which may or may not have a value. If someone pays you something for it, then it has a value. But if you want to redeem it for dollar, or the basket Libra would be backed with, and there is no basket anymore, it literally wouldn't have any value, because how would you be able to redeem that stablecoin? Now the third possibility for a stablecoin is actually the proposed functionality of David Schwartz, and that's like ingenious, but they will only develop that once a clear demand for it would require the development of that feature. Now this stablecoin functionality, I made a video about it, and I'm 100% sure that I nailed it, how it works. Basically, you can issue a stablecoin on XRP. You could, if that functionality had been implemented, you could issue a stablecoin. I made the example IPC. Then I can pack that with an official price feed to anything, to a stock, to an asset, to whatever. And that would basically tell that token, that IPC, that iPinky coin on the XRP ledger, what price it has, because it's being kind of fed from this external price feed. That's a very important thing. And then you have to trust that price feed. I mean, you wouldn't trust the price feed if the price feed would be the price of my used socks, because there is no guarantee about that. But it may be a good price feed if it's packed to the official gold price or oil price or dollar or whatever other price. Now, the second important part is the backing of that stable coin, because you may want to redeem that stable coin against the actual collateral behind it. That functionality on the XRP ledger would take care algorithmically by the algorithms on the XRP ledger that there would always be enough collateral behind the stable coin. And that's the beauty of it. You will not be able to run with the XRP collateral. I mean, you still could, but then you would basically lose the value of the stable coins. And if you're interested in those mechanics, then you should listen to the video from David Schwartz himself. He explains how this would work as a short or long selling of something, and actually not even, maybe not like a leveraged short or long selling. On that point, I'm not digging so deep in my own video. My wife changed. No, she didn't change. Chinu Patel. No, my wife didn't change opinion after Swell. She was just, she 100% still believes with me that that XRP will moon. So far she understands, and this change in her opinion, I don't think it had anything to do with swell. So last question, I will check if there is another question. I mean, XRP hard, maybe they try to shake us out, but reality shows different. There is more investors buying XRP. Hi Kevin, or bye Kevin, thanks, thank you as well. Chino Patel, I don't know the difference between Sologenic and Securitize. Ralph Raymond, no, I don't think that the BRICS nations creating their own stable. I mean, the problem with stablecoins will be always the same. How do you guarantee the collateral? And as long as this risk cannot be handled, and literally the only solution for a backed stablecoin which cannot be harmed is literally the proposed stablecoin functionality from David Schwartz. I mean, they could create another coin and do the same thing there. That would be possible. But issue a coin as such and have that backed externally, that's kind of like a total no-go, because someone could still run with the money, and that's the problem they have seen in Libra. Who is guaranteeing the collateral on Libra? I don't make end of year predictions, Abdallah. I make predictions on as soon as high value payments are starting to go through the system. But I'm thinking that we will see 4 digits before the end of June. So, there wasn't the last. Gino Patel, no. Read Galgitron's latest blog regarding your last question. And with that, I want to thank everyone for. I mean, please don't lose your faith and trust and everything. I mean, I literally see no reason why XRP should fail. I see none. Everything points to success. I thank you for your trust, for your persistence. Please check the description of this video. There is a link to a spreadsheet where you can post questions I might have not seen here in the live chat, or you have another day with a question which might be interesting for other people as well. I will answer those questions, and yeah, stay tuned. I will tell that quickly. I will be on vacation and not doing videos in the first full week of January, from 5th to 11th of January. I will be in the mountains, and then I will not be doing videos. But I will repeat that information so that you're aware when I won't be making videos, okay? And with that, I wish you a nice evening. See you maybe on Thursday or next week. As always, you can reach me at, for those who don't know it yet, at ipinky77 on Twitter, or you can leave me a comment on my videos, or use that spreadsheet if you have a cool question. Take care. Bye bye.